If you didn't know, rental bikes in China are very accessible. If you're coming here either for tourism or for settling in, it is a very convenient way to travel in the big cities. I will be showing you 3 different companies that you can use in most cities in China for these rental bikes coming up. Something to note that these companies do change over time and they may come and go as time passes by. I know I've seen maybe like 3 or 4 companies already go bankrupt in this kind of business. So I'm going to be showing you the time right now that I know of the companies that are most commonly used in Guangzhou. So you might not be able to see them in other cities like Beijing, Shanghai, but they're definitely well known and you're most likely to bump into one of these companies. If not, expect the process to be similar or if not the exact same for using rental bikes in your specific city in China. The 3 companies I'm going to cover are Hello Bike, which is done by Alipay, DiDi, which can be done by WeChat, and Mobike, which also can be done by WeChat. Before considering any rental bicycles in China, you're gonna need to bring the following, or at least have them handy so that you can register properly. You're gonna need your passport, you're gonna need WeChat Pay already established, and I already made a link up here and I'll put it in the description below on exactly how to do that on my WeChat tutorial. You're also gonna need Alipay, and I also made a link of how to set up an Alipay as a foreigner. By the way, for both WeChat and Alipay, you do not need a Chinese bank account now, so go ahead and take advantage of this time while it lasts. And lastly, you're gonna need a phone number, preferably one that has roaming data that can receive text. Better to have a Chinese phone, but I have tried this with an international phone and it has worked just fine. So the first type of bike I'm gonna go into is Hello Bike, and it looks something like this. This is my favorite application because all you need to do is to establish an Alipay. You simply go to Alipay, click the scan button, and then scan the bicycle's QR code, which is usually under the seat or in the front of the handle. Note that if you don't have Alipay with a Chinese bank account and use Alipay Chore Pass with an international bank account, you're gonna need to purchase a bike card. What this means is that maybe for 20 days or 30 days, the bikes can be used unlimited and free of charge after you purchase a bike card. Whereas if you have an Alipay with a Chinese bank card, then you can ride the bike and only get charged per trip instead of buying the bike card. You can expect each trip to be between 1 to 2 RMB depending how long you go for and how far you go. But if you buy the bike card, then you have no issues. It's unlimited use during that time period. What I like about Hello Bike is that it's very user friendly. And once you have Alipay established, you don't need to redo your verification with your ID and your passport. You don't need to download another third-party app to use it. You can just stay in Alipay. And there's no deposits you need to put into the account to be able to use this function to rent bikes. As in beforehand, you need to put large deposits in case you were to damage something. Something to note with these kinds of applications, to make sure you park in the authorized parking spots. These parking spots typically have like a white square or some kind of white line with a picture of a bicycle. Just be on the lookout for those parking spots and don't park where it says no bikes allowed because you may be charged a fine. Now the second kind of bike I'm going to be teaching you is called DiDi, and it looks something like this. So if you decide to use the DiDi application, which is pretty much the Uber of China, you are going to need to do this through the Chinese version and have a Chinese ID card. So a friend that has a Chinese ID card, go ahead and put their information in to do their ID verification and to use the application. However, if you want to avoid using a Chinese ID card and you want to use a passport instead, you're going to have to scan the bike using WeChat. If you want to learn more about using other public transportation services, you can refer to this link up here and I'll put it in the description down below on taking public transportation in China. Anyways, once you find the bike and you scan it through WeChat, you're then gonna have to do your ID verification. As you can see in these steps, you pretty much take a picture of the front page of your passport and another picture of you holding your passport with your face in it to make sure it's not a stolen passport. The process for verification may take 3 hours to 1 day depending on how fast your customer service is on that day. Once your ID has been verified, you should be able to scan your bicycle and go ahead and go on your way. This function does support a pay per trip, which is typically 1 or 2 RMB instead of having to buy a bike card for maybe 20 to 30 days. And the third and last application that I'm going to recommend and show you is Mobike. And the bike looks something like this. Now this is the one I've been using the most because it's the oldest competitor. That being said, I expect the quality of the bikes to be a little bit more beat down because it's been in the market for a longer time. One of the downsides of Mobike is that you must download the application to actually use this function. I've tried using other functions, didn't work out too well with me. So once you download the application, you guessed it, you gotta first verify your ID card. To verify your ID card, you simply go to these areas right here as I'm showing you on the screen, and you gotta make sure you click on the foreigner portion when it says to type in your ID card and your ID card number, so that it prompts you to go put in your name, your location, and again, do the same pictures as you did with the DiDi example, like a picture of the first page of your passport, as well as your passport with your face in it, and then wait either between 3 hours to 1 day for verification to be done. Once verification is done, then you're gonna have to link it to some kind of payment, e-payment. You can go to the settings right here and you can select to have your WeChat linked to it. Make sure you have your WeChat phone number ready to go, and it might ask you for the 6-digit PIN you use for WeChat e-payments that you need to remember anyways. And then you can successfully link your WeChat once your ID card has been verified. After you've linked your WeChat and your ID card's been verified, you simply just look for the bike, scan the QR code using the application, and then you go on your way. You should be able to pay by trip or even to pay for a bike card if you want to do so. By the way, I did want to mention that some of these companies actually do support electric bikes. Not in Guangzhou, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find them, but I have been seeing them in more rural areas like in Chaoshan. And these electric bikes can go up to 25 kilometers per hour. I'm not so familiar with the cost of using these electric bike rentals, so you can expect it to be maybe a little bit more expensive. They should have the barcodes on the bike itself, and if not, you can always look in the application for maybe something that says 电动车, just like this. If you see these characters on the screen, it's most likely the electrical bike. Just want to remind you guys, for all these applications, when you park your bike and lock it up, make sure you park in authorized parking areas to avoid fines that can be between 5 to maybe 20 RMB. And if you have enough offenses, they may even disable your account if you're like a 3 or 4 time offender. Having these rental bikes in China is super duper convenient, especially in the city center. I use it all the time to get around, and it makes my life so much easier. I usually pay for the bike card because I use them so much instead of paying it by trip, that it saves me the money at the end. So let me know how your experience has been taking these rental bikes in China, which are like everywhere. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. If you see a subway station, they're there. If you see a bus stop, they're there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more content about having a better lifestyle in China as a foreigner. Hit that bell notification if you want to see my weekly videos that I post every weekend. Anyways, keep surviving, and I'll catch you in the next one.